When and if we have more problems, gold will go up, silver will go up. I bought more silver recently because I suspect that this is not over yet, and silver is still down a lot from its all-time high. I own gold, I own silver. I'm not selling either. I bought more silver recently.
You're watching Capital Cosm. My name is Danny. It is May 15th, 2025, and today's guest is none other than the legendary Jim Rogers. Jim, thank you so much for coming on the show, my friend.
Oh, Danny, it's my delight and my pleasure.
It's always a pleasure having you on, Jim, especially given your insights. We always look forward to hearing what you think and what you anticipate moving forward as it relates to the market. But for right now, go ahead and dive right in. What's front and center on your radar screen at the moment? What do you think should be at top of mind for investors out there?
Be worried, be careful. You know, we've had the longest bull market in American history, the longest period ever in American history without a market problem since 2008. And I mean, Danny, I don't know. Maybe it's going to go on forever. Mr. Trump says it is, but it never has. And it worries me that everybody's so happy.
Yeah, we did have that sell off momentarily about a month ago after the Liberation Day uh, thing, but now it's pretty much rebounded back up and past those levels now. The S&P, the Dow, the Nasdaq, doesn't matter which index you look at, they've all rebounded from that massive sell off back about a month ago. Is this? It sounds like you're implying that this is more so a dead cat bounce. Is that the correct interpretation?
Well, that is a good interpretation. Yes, that is certain. I know it's never lasted so long. I know we're all happy right now, but Danny, I've been around long enough to know when everybody's happy, somebody should ask questions and worry.
Yeah, because you have everyone on one side of the boat, and we all know what happens when you have all the weight just concentrated on one side. Yeah, the boat tips over, right?
Well, it's clear that you know enough market history to know what you're talking about. That's why we're listening to you.
Yeah, I mean, allegedly I do, but but Jim, why do you? Is there any other reason aside from a crowded trade that you anticipate some worry ahead for the markets?
Well, I know that I see signs that inflation is coming back. It's not here in a big way yet. I know that everybody's making money. And when everybody's making money, Danny, who's left? Who's left to make money?
Mm.
And I just know that that is usually a sign we're coming to the end. Doesn't have to be, but I just know from my history and my experience, we're getting towards the end.
And this would affect markets worldwide, not just a U.S. market, correct?
Well, yes, it's another reason to be concerned is because nearly every market in the world has been doing well and continues to do well. I mean, there are very few that aren't doing well. China's not doing as great as others, but I mean, even Uzbekistan is starting to boom. So nearly everybody's involved.
What are we supposed to make from these trade deals? Is we haven't really had any details in terms of what the supposed talks between America and China have really yielded. We started off with 125% tariffs on China. They've been reduced down now to, I believe, 50%. What do you anticipate the outcome of these negotiations, let's say?
Well, Danny, I know that tariffs and trade wars have never been good. I know that tariffs have never been good for anybody except maybe a few people for a short period of time. So the history of tariffs is not good. Maybe somebody in Washington is realizing that. It's unlikely. In Washington, they don't usually realize anything, but perhaps enough people have been or are being affected that they're calling Washington and say, wait a minute, Mr. Trump, be careful. This is not good for us or the world. I hope that's happening.
And so, naturally, where do you see this concluding, though? If do you anticipate the U.S. and China making a deal of some sort?
They might make some deal for the press, but I doubt if there's any real lasting deal coming because Mr. Trump and many people are pretty adamant that China's evil, and he's made a political career out of it. And I don't think he's going to change completely very quickly. And I suspect things will get worse before they get better.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, it's kind of like any old relationship. If you say something really nasty to your partner, your spouse, they're going to remember that thing for 5, 10 years to come. And you know, we we did what we did with the tariff thing. That diminished trust. Now things can go back to normal, normal as normal can be, but you've got to realize that in the back of these other countries' minds, they're still remembering what we did.
And what we said and our reasoning and our thinking at the time. I think everybody, many people, most people will remember what's going on in Washington's minds, and they will know that's not going to, and if things get bad, everybody knows Washington wants to do something and will. Whether it's good or not is another question. They want to do something.
It appears, though, that the market doesn't believe that we're heading into perilous times, given that the gold price has been correcting down. Gold has been going up, up, and up for the last year and a half, seemingly with the increasing escalations of World War III, both in Eastern Europe and West Asia, and as of a couple of weeks ago, now Pakistan and India. But the last few days, it's been correcting back down significantly. It's around 3,100 today. What's your take on the bit of oil? Are traders and investors wrong here in your view?
Well, 2 or 3 days action, even a week or two's action, is not a whole lot in the historical picture. So this does not impress me at all. I mean, I would say I notice it, but it doesn't make me change my actions because I know that when and if we have more problems, gold will go up, silver will go up. I bought more silver recently because I suspect that this is not over yet, and silver is still down a lot from its all-time high. I own gold, I own silver. I'm not selling either. I bought more silver recently.
If you're looking for great deals on gold and silver coins and bars from a company that you can trust, then you've got to check out the good folks over at Pimbex. This year, I've really gotten to know these guys, and all I can say is you're not going to deal with a better group of people. They're a family-owned gold and silver online bullion company offering the essentials and more at industry-leading prices while always providing first-class top-tier service. That's PIMBEX.com. And if you're looking to convert some or all of your retirement account into real gold and silver, give Pimbex a call. They'll help explain the process and get you started on the right path. Your support at Pimbex also helps support the channel. So reach out to Pimbex today. You won't be disappointed. And make sure to tell them Danny sent you.
Interesting. And if I recall from one of our previous talks, you said you had sold all of your U.S. stocks and you've bought silver or more silver, correct?
That is still the correct statement. I still own no U.S. stocks. I do own a few in China, a few in Uzbekistan, but for the most part, I am out of stock market investments.
And aside from silver, anything else that you've seemingly gone long on?
Well, I mean, get out a list of things that are cheap. There's not much cheap anymore. Yes, China is still cheap. or rather, China is still down a fair amount from its all-time high. Uzbekistan is too. But Danny, look out the window. Most things have done very well in the last little while. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I know when everything has done well and is doing well, it is usually a time to ask questions or be cautious.
When does silver get its time to shine? Because gold has had the limelight now for a couple years. Silver's still, what, 40% down from its all-time, a little under 40% down from its all-time high. In the cycle, when does silver typically run in the precious metals bull cycle?
That's an extremely good observation. It's an important observation. The all-time high on silver was 50. It made it there twice in history. It is not there now. It's only about, I don't know, what is it, 30 or 35 now? So conceivably, silver can go much higher, and gold is at an all-time high. For what that's worth, I own both, so I obviously pay attention. If I were buying one today, I would buy silver. I am not selling my gold. I want to buy more gold in future years.
What about bonds? I'm looking at the 10-year yield right now, and it's been stealthily moving up. It's almost at 4.5% at the time of this recording. What's your take on the bond market weakening there?
Well, I know that inflation is going to go higher. I know that the US government has spent gigantic amounts of money in the last year, the last few years, anytime you want to look. It's unbelievable how much money Washington keeps spending. And throughout history, that has not been good down the road. And I know that interest rates will go higher because of all the money spending, and we're all going to suffer.
So
I'm
during
not saying this is good. I'm just telling you my observations.
hmm So during the Liberation Day sell-off, something interesting really happened. You had number one, stocks sell off, but you also had bonds sell off as well, which is odd because conventional thinking will have you believe that when stocks sell off, bonds get a bid, but that's not what happened. We had stocks go down a significant percentage, and then you also had the 10-year yield spike up to 4.5%. It did have a momentary lapse below 4%, but then quickly rebounded back up. Gold, however, it did lose a few, it did lose a few percentage points, but it held up relatively stronger than everything else and even made an all-time high, towards the end of the sell-off there. What are we to make? I mean, this is kind of like a window of what we could expect in a massive sell-off into the future. It's kind of like a beta test. What are we to make of, number one, stocks and bonds selling off simultaneously, but gold getting a bid?
Well, in my view, and I make many mistakes, but in my view, they're warning us. Bad things are coming. I mean, how can the bond market always go higher and the spending and the debt go higher every day, every week, every month? I mean, Danny, this cannot continue unless the world has completely changed and there's a new science at work. This cannot continue. This has to lead to problems. I hope I'm wrong. It'd be wonderful if I'm wrong. But I've read enough history to know how the world works.
Is there a way for the U.S. to get out of this sovereign debt crisis?
Well, sure, you default. That's usually what happens. Eventually, people default. Then it's a worse crisis. But Danny, I mean, I guess you know the numbers. Most people do. The numbers are staggering and getting worse.
Yeah.
And Washington will tell you, don't worry, Danny. We can keep this up. This can go on many, many years. When they say don't worry, I worry more.
Very good point. I mean, I'm surely you've heard of like this idea out there that the Treasury can revalue its gold to market value and that'll wipe out a significant chunk of their debt of their debt in the process. We have, as it stands right now, gold is priced at, I believe it's like $42 or $44 on the books at the Treasury. If
Yes.
they were to reprice that at whatever the market price is at the moment. Right now, it's at 31 and some change. Um, is that a foreseeable path that they could take to alleviate some of the debt burden?
It is a foreseeable path they could take. Does it relieve anything other than for a short time? Absolutely not. It's a paper. It's swapping paper. I think most people would understand what that is. And if you say it just changes the price level, okay. It changes the price level to a much higher level. And maybe a loaf of bread is not 20 cents. Maybe a loaf of bread is $20 now.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, it's not good for you and me.
And shifting from a financial standpoint to a geopolitical standpoint, we still have these conflicts ongoing, although Trump has been trying his best to craft some sort of ceasefire or peace deals across various regions. Namely, let's start off with Ukraine and Russia. It's we're still we're still not at the point where the Russians and feel comfortable in signing a peace deal. Where are we right now in that conflict? Is Trump on the right track to create a ceasefire environment in Ukraine?
Well, I don't know if he's on the right track. The world certainly needs him. This period looks more and more like during the 30s, when you had a little war here and a little war there and another little war there. And the next thing you know, some of those little wars got bigger and bigger. And the next thing you know, we had some big wars. It's, to me, remarkably scary how similar this is to previous periods in history when a lot of little wars kept breaking out and eventually became big wars. People get used to war and they get used to things being in conflict, and then it's less urgent to do something, and so you have a big war.
Mm-hmm. And what do you make of Iran now saying that they're willing to come to the table and make a deal on their nuclear program with conditions that the U.S. lift all sanctions and a number of other conditions as well? Are we on the verge of seeing some sort of peace breakout, at least between the U.S. and Iran here, or is this kind of like an act of goodwill?
Well, we certainly should be. I mean, Iran has a very young population. Most of them are not anti the U.S. They're too young to be anti the U.S. They like a lot about American culture and American life. And I would suspect that Iran, as much as anybody else, is certainly ready and willing to make peace with the U.S., at least the young people. And I hope they will. I'd have no reason to go to war with Iran, and I'm sure you don't either. And I know most of them don't have a reason to go to war. So let's hope that somebody will pull the trigger for peace.
Do you believe that this has been a genuine effort on the part of the Trump administration to broker peace between Iran, or is there kind of like a hidden motive here? Like a good cop, bad cop type of deal.
My reading, and who knows, but my reading is it's more an Iranian effort than a Washington effort. But either way, I hope it continues forward. But my reading is that the Iranians don't have any interest in war. They know war will not do them any good. They know that they need prosperity because they got a lot of young people and they need to feed them and keep them happy.
Right. And staying focused on the Middle East, Trump is doing his rounds right now. He's been so far. He's visited MBS in Saudi Arabia. He's been to Qatar. He's been gifted all sorts of goodies. He's cut $600 billion deals with Saudi Arabia, $1.2 trillion deals with Qatar. And I believe today he's at the UAE. I could be mistaken though. But what's the new Middle East that we're seeing played out? I mean, he recognized the president of Syria, Ahmed al-Shara, the other day as well, even though, given his sketchy background, he still called him a nice guy and all that other stuff. So what are we seeing play out in the Middle East now? Is the Middle East being changed at the significantly
Well,
right now?
whenever you have a new administration, especially in a powerful place like Washington, some of the new players look for change, and that's what's happening now. I mean, most of the new people in the cabinet weren't around in some of the wild, crazy years, and so they would like peace. They don't see a reason to keep shouting at each other, and I hope that that continues. I mean, the Treasury Secretary is an internationalist, and many of the rest of them are internationalists, and they understand the good that can happen if people stop shouting. Apparently, I mean, I don't speak to them, so I don't know, but I'm telling you what I read in the press.
So what does that mean that they're internationalists? That they're willing to they're more so interested in global cooperation? Like, what's the extent of that?
Well, they know the benefits of international trade. They know that the U.S. has been expanding its international trade for several years now. They can see that it's been good for many companies, many people, and they want more of it. I don't think there are many isolationists in the new Trump government. And if you have people who have an international outlook, they want to do more with the rest of the world, especially trade.
Right. And finally, before we cap things off, we have the India-Pakistan short-lived conflict. We have a ceasefire in place now, but from what you're reading in the situation, is that pretty much over, or should we anticipate a reignition at some point?
Well, my reading of the new government in Delhi, I mean, it's certainly very proactively internationalist for the first time in my lifetime. They seem to understand that prosperity is good. Rich people are not bad. I mean, in Delhi, for the first time in my investing career, they seem to understand how the world should work. I'm excited about the changes I see in India. And if India is changing, obviously Pakistan is going to change too, one way or the other. And so this is one of the changes I see in the world that's extremely good. The problem is all of the other small wars that might be developing and that might get worse.
Interesting. I think we've explored every nook and cranny around the world here, Jim, and every aspect of the market. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up here?
Well, Danny, you're here to teach us all. So you teach us, you tell us what to worry about and to think about and what solutions. I will just say again that the United States stock market has been going up for the longest in our history without a problem. And maybe it's going to go up forever. Donald Trump says, don't worry, it's going to go up forever. I certainly hope so.
Stocks the other week. Yeah, he did say buy stocks, and the stock market ripped up higher. So
I certainly hope things are going to be up forever, or for just at least for his term. If nothing else, that would be great.
Well, they can be up forever, but in nominal terms, but in real terms, like when you look at the Dow versus gold or the S&P priced in gold, these indices have not made all-time highs anytime soon. I mean, they hit their all-time high back in 2000 if you priced them in gold or if you inflation adjust them.
Well, it's even worse if you adjust for silver. So no, you're observant, and this is important. I hope people understand. These are important observations that you're making. It's extremely important that just because the Dow Jones goes up doesn't mean we're all happy days are here again. There's a lot more to it than just the Dow Jones in nominal terms.
Right. So can't we seemingly see the stock market go up forever in nominal terms? Like from a theoretical standpoint, that the market goes up in nominal terms, but we continue to see assets like gold outperform it as time moves forward.
Well, Danny, that's good, but suppose your wife wants a pair of shoes. Suppose your kid need a new school bag. I mean, life is not that static. Life goes on, and the prices of other things will go on too. And never, all I can observe is that never in history have things always been great for everybody like they are now.
The zero-sum game.
And Mr. Trump will tell you, Danny, he'll call you up and say, Danny, don't worry. I've got things under control. Things are going to be great for the rest of my term. Don't worry. Hooray.
Well, we'll see what happens here, Jim. Thank you so much for coming on here. Again, my friend, it's always a pleasure having you on. If people want to see more of your work, I know you don't have any big promotions or anything, but if you do, I mean, feel free to shout them out.
I said, Danny, I'm afraid I don't have anything to sell. If I do, I'll call you.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
But I do will say, just please keep up the good work.
all right.
We
Well,
need you.
I appreciate it, Jim. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed this podcast, drop us a like and comment. Go, Jim, go in the comment section. If you disagreed with anything we talked about, that's fine too. Just let me know what you disagreed on. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I do read the comment section. And if you want to continue to help us out and help us grow, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button on the side here on YouTube. It really does go a long way in boosting the channel and these videos up in the algorithm so more people can see them. And if you want to support me further monetarily and get a cool product in return, then check out our list of sponsors and affiliates down below. Supporting them helps support the channel, and you also get a cool product at a discounted rate. For example, the Trends Journal at 10% off, Capital Sexploits at $1,000 off, and so much more. Check out the description box for a list of goodies chock full for you guys. And check out our Substack as well, capitalcosm.substack.com, for all my interviews, early and ad-free and uncensored for the ones that warrant it. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later. Bye.
Thank you, Danny. Good job as usual.